All right, gents, welcome back. Week 1 in the books already. Kind of like the preseason this year. Obviously, a new face to the Prognosis game, filling in for Pete, who apparently has a kid. Also is apparently also going to school twice. Weird. I myself trying to finish up as well, so hence why it's so delayed. Um, you know, big footsteps to follow in here. Going to do my very best. Not going to try and make this a video every week, but unfortunately, the scenario or the situation this week calls for me to do it. 2 more weeks of school, and then hopefully we can get to the write-ups because they're, in my opinion, they're a hell of a lot better. All right, getting right into it. My matchup against Greg Edemos. So the back-to-back champions here, or the past 2 champions face off week 1. Taking a quick look here at the matchup, right? We had Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert at QBs. Surprisingly enough, Trevor Lawrence actually outperformed Justin Herbert. Very surprising there in his first game back, but we're not going to get too caught up on that. Obviously, my running backs came up big for me, as well as my flex. Jackson, for all that shade you threw at me for keeping DeAndre Swift, obviously he comes up big. And, I didn't really see Derrick Henry do too much, so we'll get to that matchup soon. All in all, a pretty good week for me. Wish I could have put up a little bit more points, got into the 120 range, would have made me feel a hell of a lot more confident coming in. We can blame that on Mr. Inconsistent Mike Evans. Greg, you're 0-1. You're probably not going to stay there. You had the 2 gifts of keepers from Pittman and Kelsey and Diggs, kind of highway robbery. I think you just mismanaged the draft. I don't know, maybe because you were in fucking Hawaii, and not at the live draft. Taking a look at people who left on the bench, I had Gabriel Davis, who got stuck there with 11 points on a touchdown, but nothing really crazy there. And David Johnson, somehow the Houston running backs did something last week. I don't expect that to continue to happen. But, Greg, I'm just glad I showed you who your daddy was, Up to the next one, we have Nick Cassiano, who is a live draft participant. Great to know that. And Miles from Tomorrowland, Greg Murphy. Murphy took the win here. A pretty low-scoring matchup. I'll be the first to say that, actually, Greg, phenomenal job this week. You dominated a person that gave me grief all day today for not having this done. When he has, maybe a 40-hour work week, and then he strolls into happy hour and then, go plays around a quick round of 9 before he meets up with Randy for dinner on Hanover Street in Boston over a nice glass of red. Way to dominate, way to show him who's boss. Josh Allen performed well. Miles Sanders performed above average. Jonathan Taylor right there. DeAndre Hopkins, filthy. I mean, we can definitely putting up an argument for number 1 wide receiver in the league. Gesicki, I had him in another league. Fuck him. Don't know why he got 0 points, 1 target, absolute trash, whatever. Robert Tonyan, surprised he even got 7-4 points for you, Cass. Typically he's touchdown or bust, and the Packers obviously didn't do too much last week. So taking a look at the bench, just because I like reviewing that, we had Antonio Brown, Jamal Williams on Greg's side that, really outperformed their projection substantially. Time will tell if that they become trade bait or not. Cassiano, your bench is trash. Fuck off. Next, we got a non-group chat contributor, Chris Pittman, versus Pete, the former provider of the Prognosis, Brett Gardner. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, but you are in dead last place now with a solid 85.9. Welcome to Lamar Jackson underperforming and throwing for 180 yards and rushing for 75. Fuck him. It's why I didn't draft him. I refuse to draft him. Fuck him. Darrell Henderson actually put up 15 for you. Solid. Najee Harris was not a great sign. I got him in another league, and I'm not too happy with him. Hopefully he bounces back next week. Calvin Ridley, don't understand what the fuck happened to the Atlanta offense. They were moving along pretty good, but they just couldn't seem to put it in the end zone. Chase Claypool, a lot of options out there over in Pittsburgh. We'll see how that ends up going. Zach Ertz, maybe that's a great play back, 6-7 years ago. I don't know what you're trying to do over there, but you got your staple Justin Tucker who put up 11. Looking over at Pittman's side, you got the little gnome dwarf guy, Kyler Murray, running around like fucking crazy. Aaron Jones underperforming like the shithead he is because Green Bay doesn't know how to fucking run an offense. Mostert, later. Bye for the rest of the year. Hey, man, I got Ingram if you're interested. Justin Jefferson, slightly underperformed. Oh, big surprise. He didn't catch an 80-yard touchdown pass by fucking Kirk Cousins. Cooper Kupp, blew it out of the water. I think he's going to love Matt Stafford. I think everyone in LA is going to love Matt Stafford. Yes, he's a top 5 quarterback. Greg Murphy, and I would take him over Andrew Luck. Darren Waller is a fucking freak. Derek Carr must have a fucking hard-on for him. Honestly, I would too if I targeted the guy fucking 15 times a game. Marquise Hollywood Brown, I think he had probably his best game of the year. I'm putting it down that he probably doesn't get over 16 points again. Washington D, lackluster, and who gives a fuck about a kicker? Over on the benches, Jamar Chase had 3 receptions for 105 yards and a TD. So it'll be interesting to see if he keeps that up. Doubtful, but definitely surprising. Other than that, no one on your bench was good. Kareem Hunt was all right. Anyways, looking over at Pete's bench, left 30 points on the bench with Debo. I would have never fucking played him anyways because the 49ers offense is literally a reincarnation of like Bill Walsh's fucking 49ers, where they just time of possession, yards after catch, blah, blah, blah. It would have been a nice little flyer playing against the Lions, who, honestly, I don't know who the fuck they're rolling out there. And Okuda, who's supposed to be like, when he came out of college, he was supposed to be filthy. And obviously he's trash, and that's hilarious because they passed up on drafting a bunch of QBs, including Herbert. Kudos to you, Pittman. Did a solid job. A lot of carrying from, Cooper Kupp, Darren Waller, and Kyler Murray. Honestly, I think you continue that little trend of going over 115, 110 points a week if, Aaron Jones gets his head out of his fucking ass. Moving on to the false positives versus Nicky O and King Cuck. False positives laid the fucking smackdown, to be 100% honest. Mahomes did Mahomes things. James Robinson did absolute trash. Chris Carson did his normal 10 to 15 points a game. CeeDee Lamb, really benefiting from Dax coming back, so that's a positive. Allen Robinson was just put Justin Fields in there. Who gives a fuck about Andy Dalton? Logan Thomas, I think he's going to continue to have a great year. 10 points is obviously solid, especially for a tight end. I don't think he really slips up with Heineke. I feel like, backup QBs, they really try and key in on their check downs, which are typically tight ends and running backs. So it'll be interesting. Tyler Lockett obviously had his 27 points. He'll probably be good for 3 of those. And then the rest of the year, he'll have 7 points. Steelers defense put up 13. That's pretty solid considering they're playing against Bills offense, which is, probably top 5 in the league. You have Kansas City's kicker, which is a cheat code for every point after attempt that they ever have. So looking at your bench, nothing that really sticks out. Juju is a fucktard. Surprised you even drafted him. You refused to draft him before, and he's also on my list of refusing to draft. Dallas Goedert, 12.2 points for your boy, but it's not like you're ever going to play him in the flex. And then Tannehill was absolute trash against the Cardinals. Chandler Jones, Nicky O. You got Tom Brady. I fucking love him. I love Tom. I hope he wins again and again and again and again. Christian McCaffrey, obviously a white dude at a skilled position. I'm going to root for him. It's nasty that he's the number 1 fucking running back out there in the league. What he came out with, like 86 rushing yards, 89 receiving yards. Like, it looks like what he was in 2019. Looks like what he was at the beginning of the year last year. You just got to hope with what you put out there for, a bid that, he goes throughout the whole year without missing any games. Mike Davis, I thought underperformed. Definitely underperformed to projections, but that happens when you score only fucking 6 points against the Eagles defense. Brandon Ayuk, big fat 0. Trash. Robbie Anderson had, one catch for 57 yards, was it? And a touchdown. I got beat by him in another fucking league because of that. Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson's trash. So, he does feed Mark Andrews, got a big payday, so I'm sure that's going to be an anomaly of 3.5, but again, Lamar Jackson, fuck you. Jarvis Landry, sneaky keeper, weird keeper. Paid off for you week 1. Time will tell if it pays off for you for the next 16 weeks. Ballsy move playing the Bucs defense. Probably would have tried to find someone on the waiver wire for that. And Brandon McManus, obviously, playing Denver kickers. Pretty solid. Looking on your bench, guys. I already did Kyle's. Nicky O's bench. Yeah, DJ Shark dropped 16 points. I think obviously he's going to be a pretty big target for Trevor Lawrence. It's just a matter of what type of game plan Urban Meyer comes out with. Who the fuck knows? Could come out with like a goddamn option offense and be like, oh, dude, we got to remind you, it's not fucking Ohio State. Either way, very lackluster bench. I'd expect that you'd continue to start who you got out there for next week. So 105 points, got to do better. And Kyle, I hate to give you props, but you were carried by a big week by Tyler Lockett, CeeDee Lamb, and Patrick Mahomes. Moving over to Team Tidmarsh, the OG team. I would call him part of the original 6. With a squeaker over fellow 2-time Fallon winner. Actually, yes, 2-time Fallon winner. I ate a big red candle, Matthew Jackson. Sucks to suck, Matt. It's sometimes those are the breaks. Maybe if Zeke Elliott had any return on investment on your $70 that you invested in him, maybe you would have won. Like maybe. Instead, they hand to Pollard, and you got fucking squat. Jalen Hurts, very surprise performance by him. I thought he was going to be really inconsistent. I stayed away from him in every draft, but I think honestly he has good potential to break out if they continue that kind of, they continue that offense where they let him play his type of game. Injuries, avoiding injuries would probably be obviously in his best interest in terms of his gameplay. Whoops. Sorry, guys. Not the smoothest. Take one. Derrick Henry trash, at least this week. He'll probably stiff arm me in my sleep for saying that. Zeke Elliott, I already talked about him. Keenan Allen, fucking love Keenan Allen. He's the man. He's phenomenal. He's one of the most consistent wide receivers in the league over the past decade. I love him. Adam Thielen, not washed. 25.7 points, so big there. Noah Fant, 9.2. It's pretty solid. Teddy Bridgewater, didn't know what you're going to get with him, nor were you figure out what the offense was going to be with the new QB. So solid 9.2 there. Damian Harris, if it wasn't for that big fumble, would have had a fucking great game, and the Patriots probably would have won that game. 13.7, still solid out of your flex, and let's be honest, for a non-pass catching running back from New England, it's a breath of fresh air because that hasn't happened in quite some time. Looking over at Titty's team, you got Dak Prescott, who looked phenomenal, poised under pressure, didn't get freaked out when people were at his feet. Looks great, and that Cowboys defense is going to continue to throw and throw and throw and throw. Antonio Gibson, I think he's going to be great, like really good this year. I think with Fitzpatrick gone, it's going to hurt him a bit, but we'll see. Just because I feel like they're going to start keying in a little bit more, not like 8 men in the box, but he's going to see a lot more